Hey everyone, welcome to a quick video on the 12th of October, which you can call a weekly update video if you like. There really wasn't enough to make one, but now there's a couple things that came up, so I figured I'd make one for this week. First thing to quickly mention is the CTP lottery slots were sent out, so if you were lucky enough to pick one up and you registered your interest, then you will probably have an email, and your time may have already passed and you may have already done it, but I believe it runs for the whole week, so keep an eye out for that, and feel free, of course, to look for a slot after this period has passed, because you may be able to get one even if you didn't get a lottery slot time. But if you did, then you log on at that time, you can choose your city pair and filter, and then choose your time, whatever's available, and book it ready for the actual event on the 22nd. The other thing to mention is that TFM has almost completed PMDG 737 support, which will roughly have taken around 24 weeks by the time it's done, so roughly 6 months. The various panels have pretty much been completed, and so there's hope that it's going to be done very soon. There's also discussion about the VATSIM modes, which will eventually be released to the public, but are currently being worked on and tested due to some errors that are coming up when using them. But the features are coming along nicely in terms of being able to choose a range, which I've talked about previously, being able to choose a range to view aircraft and controllers. But yeah, there are some errors apparently when viewing these things, and so the aim is that eventually this will replace the current AI traffic mode publicly. But until then, it'll just be previews, and on the blog post you can see where you need to report issues with the previews. So TFM coming along nicely, and there's discussion here then that after that is done, we'll turn to the 747, and that is estimated to take 52 weeks, so roughly a year-ish. Obviously that's an estimate. I mean, this 73 took 6 months, so it could take less, but you've got to remember the 74 is more complex than the 737 significantly. It's an older aircraft, especially the 400, and there's a lot more on the panels, so it could take longer. I mean, you never know. Again, like I say, these are estimates, so could be that things move along faster than we expect. So there's that. And other than that, there's not too much. I know that in discussions with a few people recently who've been saying, kind of, oh, I'm bored of the PMDG lineup of aircraft and the Boeing systems, and I want something new. All I would say to that is look at things like the VATSIM network. Look at the events page. There's new events every day. The PMDGs, obviously the 7.3 you've got, but then the 7.4 comes with 3 engine variants with the 400, all the different variants. You can get the 800, the 777 comes with 3 engine variants. On the 200ER, you've got all the other variants, and they all fly slightly differently. For example, the 747 domestic flies a lot different to the regular 400, so that's something new, but VATSIM really enhances it. If you fly to all these different events and experience the different regions, fly somewhere you've never flown before, fly in Asia, fly in Europe, fly in Australia, go to some different events, then you won't be bored. I definitely understand, all these aircraft PMDGs have similar systems, and it'd be great to get more aircraft payware, that is, and it's definitely something that we hope to see. Of course, who doesn't want more payware aircraft? But there's a lot more to flight sim than just the aircraft. So try some different places. Go to some of these VATSIM events, because that's that's going to spice things up for you. If you're just doing flights from A to B offline, in the same planes, then I can understand how it can get boring, but there's other things you can do to, change things up. And, VATSIM is a big thing. Join a virtual airline, join multiple, everyone knows I run BVI Virtual. We have a really good community, and, I pretty much always fly for BVI, of course. But, it's good to have a community, and we do have that. So it makes flying more fun because we can all see where our aircraft are at. We can all organize events. So I'm not saying you've got to join BVI, but if you're bored, join. There's another thing you can do: join some virtual airline. Maybe you got an airline and you want to replicate real world routes or whatever it may be. So I know we all want to see new aircraft, but that is something that ultimately, as a community, we don't have massive amounts of control over. We kind of have to go with what we get, and there's not a lot of people around who are able to do this kind of thing for us, BVI pilots, making a pay-where aircraft completely accessible. And so we just have to be grateful for what we have, and use things like the TFM fall survey, which I mentioned in previous videos, to talk about what you want to see. And understand that these things have a lot of angles to them. Obviously we want an Airbus for a pay-where aircraft, right? That would be the next logical thing to do at some point. However, you've got to remember, doing something like the Aerosoft Airbus for P3D is all well and good, but that plane has been superseded quite a long time ago by other aircraft. The muddied waters around Microsoft Flight Simulator still kind of remain. We're really not sure where we'll be with that in 2-3 years, and we would like to say that we will be able to use it. And then maybe more aircraft will be available to us there. So it's like, is it worth doing all these pay-where aircraft in P3D and then something happens in Microsoft? Ultimately, we want to see more aircrafts, and in whatever sim, I'm sure we would take it. But me personally, I enjoy what we have, and with the PMDGs, yes, they use similar systems, but there is variation, and you got to use VATSIM, use virtual airlines, all these different things. They really do mix things up. Especially, if you're doing group flights with people, that makes it a lot more fun as well. If you can get on a group flight, whoever it's with, that will really make it more enjoyable, and you'll think less about what aircraft you're in and more about the actual procedures, because every region of the world has different procedures. So kind of make it your mission to learn some of these procedures. Get comfortable with flying in Europe to where you can do that like the back of your hand, same as the US, things like that. So they'll put you in good stead for whenever we get a new aircraft. You'll be ready to go. So future is looking good, and at the moment we are kind of in a strange place as a community because we don't know what's happening with Microsoft. We are very much in limbo, waiting for that. But ultimately, I'm not going to sit around and wait and keep saying, "Oh, I really want Microsoft. Oh, I'm not gonna fly really until we get Microsoft. I don't know what to do." No, I'm just going to enjoy what we have, and what we have is a massive improvement from where we came, and what we have allows me to fly on VATSIM like any sighted person and join all these really cool events with thousands of other people. So suits me. That's great for now. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it still. So I understand both points of view, but just got to try and explore some different avenues other than just worrying about we need more aircraft. So we do, but ultimately you can only control what you can control, and unless you've got some major developing skills, what are you going to do? So yeah, good news overall that TFM is coming to a close with the 737. That would be great, because it can be said then, you know, if you really want an aircraft that's pretty much fully complete, the 737 is a great place to start. So yeah, that's really all we've got for this week, I would say, and we'll see you soon. And ignore that part of the end. We've got a low battery alert.